Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World, and happy hump day, everybody. Hopefully the weather where you are is better than how it is right now here where I am in Fort Wayne. It is snowing like crazy here. Snowing like crazy. And if you're looking for consistent content, please like, share, and subscribe. We go live basically every single day, bringing you guys the most up-to-date content. So please check us out and continue checking us out here at Prime Sports World. I'm David Huffman. Right there is the CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. Welcome into the show. I've also shared the StreamYard link into all of the places. So if you want to join us and talk a little fantasy football, you're more than welcome to do so. Izzy, I made a trade this morning. So I was one of the lucky people.
Whoa!
I was one of the lucky people that picked up Christian Watson. Okay? So I got Christian Watson.
Man, you know what? I tried to pick up Christian Watson in all of my leagues and that failed miserably.
So I got Christian Watson in the league. And somebody today offered me a trade, Elijah Mitchell for Christian Watson. I did that. I made that trade. I was like,
I would have made that trade too.
I'm like, I would rather have Elijah Mitchell for the rest of the season than Christian Watson, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially since seeing Elijah Mitchell led the 49ers in rushing in their last game, even with Christian McCaffrey there. I think Elijah Mitchell, this is a run-first football team.
I saw that trade. I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. 100%. Like, yeah, I literally picked up Chris. I literally picked him up today. Yeah, you can have him. I will roll with Elijah Mitchell. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that trade working out for me. Even though my team in that league isn't all that good. But yeah, I had a pretty decent week of fantasy. I did lose to Graybo, which I hate losing to Graybo because you know how he gets.
Oh yeah, Graybo's a little salty.
He doesn't even win with class. Like,
can't win with class, can't lose with class. I'm gonna have to talk to my old college roommate about that.
But yeah,
anyways,
we're here to talk fantasy football. We're here to give you our rankings for week number 11. Hopefully, help you guys win your league and win your week. Let's break out right into those pass throwers, quarterback position. Let's talk about it. Number 1, Justin Fields. The dude has just been on a tear, and I expect it to continue. He has a favorable matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, so look at that, have a pretty good matchup with Justin Fields. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Jalen Hurts. 4, Patrick Mahomes. 5, Joe Burrow. 6, Lamar Jackson. 7, Daniel Jones. 8, Dak Prescott. 9, Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is going to get you some ground yardage. He's going to get you some touchdowns in this Bear defense. I don't know if you know this or not. Stinks. The Bears
are not good.
The Bears are the first team in NFL history to score, I think it was over 29 points in 3 straight games and lose all 3. And then number 10 is Kirk Cousins. As long as Justin Jefferson continues to roll out for Kirk Cousins, he's going to be valuable as a fantasy quarterback. And then my outside looking, I got.
Hey, hold on. Future Hall of Famer Justin Jefferson? No, stop it.
That's a little premature on that.
No.
My outside looking at, I got Justin Herbert. I am very concerned about his offensive line and his lack of weapons on the outside, but I still think he can put up some points, even garbage time against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2, Aaron Rodgers. I think that he's going to be bouncing back. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to continue to play well. Look for him to play well against the Tennessee Titans, who doesn't have a great secondary. And 3, Kyler Murray. I'm assuming that he's going to play in this game. It's been must-win situation for Arizona for a while now. And then my sneaky daily is Marcus Mariota at 5,500. Pretty cheap for quarterback when it comes to DraftKings.
In DraftKings, that's it's pretty interesting there. I do believe Marcus Mariota does have top 10 potential in this matchup. I think Justin Fields and Marcus Mariota are going to have some top 10 potential, especially Justin Fields, man. He's just been on a roll the last 3 games. He's looked like he's back at Ohio State. And I said it on the other shows that coaching staff has opened up the playbook a little bit more for him and have utilized his strengths, which is he's an athletic quarterback that can get out of the pocket, that can throw on the run, and then he can run away from the second level of any defense. So Justin Fields,
we saw that in that 60-yard touchdown. Like nobody touched him.
Nobody even touched him. Nobody even touched him. If this was flag football, they wouldn't even got the flag. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Number one, Patrick freaking Mahomes. I understand why you got Justin Fields there. Great matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, but I can't go up against Patrick Mahomes. He has a good matchup as well. And if he's throwing the ball, how many times he threw the ball last time, baby? 50-something times?
Yeah.
50 times?
Yeah. He didn't have to throw it that much against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The week before against the Tennessee Titans.
He still threw 4 touchdowns against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah. So, Patrick Mahomes going against a Chargers defense that is reeling right now, that doesn't have, I don't even know if their offensive weapons are going to even be there. Their defensive weapons, like Khalil Mack is getting double teamed like damn near every play. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, I like that matchup. At number 2, I got Justin Fields. Yes, I do think he has a great matchup going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Number 3, Jalen Hurts. At number 4, I got Lamar Jackson. Number 5, Josh Allen. I just wish Josh Allen would limit his turnovers. He's actually kind of played his way out of the MVP award.
We're gonna do that because we're doing a double dose of the prime tonight. We're gonna revisit those awards. We made predictions earlier in the season before the season started. We're gonna revisit those awards here tonight. Josh Allen will not be my MVP. Before the season started, I for sure picked him to be the MVP of the league. He's not. He's probably not even in the top 5 right now.
Yeah, no, he's not. And so actually, my number 1 guy, Patrick Mahomes, might just be my MVP. I
think if I had to give the MVP award out today, which we are going to do later, Patrick Mahomes, spoiler, Patrick Mahomes will be the guy I do think should have the MVP right now.
Yes, absolutely. And then at number 6, I got Dak Prescott. Number 7, Daniel Jones. Just going against a Detroit team that just let Justin Fields run all over them at the quarterback position. Daniel Jones has some. Danny Dimes got wheels too, so I think Danny Dimes has some.
And the great thing about Daniel Jones is that his ceiling's high enough. His rushing yards keeps the ceiling pretty high, or his floor pretty high. So I think you can bank on at least 15 points for Daniel Jones every week, no matter what.
Yeah, so he's definitely got some value on the ground against those Detroit Lions that just couldn't contain Justin Fields. And then at number 8, I got Joe Burrow. Number 9, Justin Herbert. Just because it's Justin Herbert, they're going to fling it around. They're going to be down in that game. They're going to have to play catch up most of the game. So he might have a pretty good game, but I am concerned. I do think they'll be getting Mike Williams back this week. They probably won't have Gerald Everett back, and I'm not sure too much about Keenan Allen. I think he's kind of been on the fringe so far this week.
I know he played 1 week, and then he hasn't he was super limited in that game. But I'll look at Mike Williams here for a second. Both of them are making progress, so take it as you will.
Yeah, if he could get 2 of the 3 back, especially Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I like Justin Herbert to actually be higher on the rankings. Then number 10.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and then on number 10, I got Kirk Cousins rounding out my top 10. I'm outside looking in. I got Kyler Murray. Taylor, give me a 6-pack of Heineke, baby. And then I got Marcus Mariota going against the Chicago Bears. And then my sneaky and FanDuel. People are disrespectful. Aaron freaking Rodgers at 6,700. And I'm going to say this. Those 3 guys on my outside looking in actually cost more on FanDuel this week at the quarterback position than Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a pretty good game against the Tennessee Titans tomorrow. Give me Aaron Rodgers at 6,700.
I agree with you on the Aaron Rodgers prediction. Yeah, I got him.
And I know you don't like to do like the Thursday night games. So, I'm pretty sure you may have had somebody in that realm. But anyways, that is my quarterback rankings. So
moving on from quarterbacks, let's swing into those running backs. They give them the rock and then they run down the field with it. You go first with your running back rankings.
Yes, my number 1 running back is Saquon Barkley going up against that lowly Detroit Lions defense. He's pretty much been the number 1 running back all season. If there has to be another MVP candidate really close to Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, it's definitely Saquon Barkley. At number 2, I got Austin Eckler. Number 3, I got Nick Chubb. Yeah, Nick Chubb. Even though they struggled, Buffalo hasn't been the eye of consistency when it comes to stopping running backs. Aaron Jones 8, Dalvin Cook 8, and I think Nick Chubb is going to eat as long as they can, keep it on the ground and not abandon the run early. Cleveland. So, but they are playing in Buffalo, so that may happen. Anyways, at number 4, I got Christian McCaffrey. Number 5, Derrick Henry. Number 6, Dalvin Cook. Number 7, Jonathan Taylor at home. Number 8, I got Joe mixing it up, baby. Joe Mixon playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh. You know what? I got him a little. If this game was at home in Cincinnati, I might have had Joe Mixon a little higher. But I think with T.J. Watt kind of being, back in the lineup, with that infectious energy on the defense, I saw it last week. It might be tough sledding for Joe Mixon in the run game. That might be a close game at Pittsburgh for Cincinnati. A little closer, too close for comfort. And then number 9, I got Aaron Jones going up against Tennessee. And then rounding out my top 10, I got Alvin Kamara at home going against the LA Rams. And he actually leads that game against the Rams at home because he's actually been kind of lackluster the past 2 weeks
after having extremely lackluster after having that monster game. Where he's been mediocre at best since then.
Yes, mediocre at best. And I'm outside looking in.
I joked in our group chat like the Royals say should just suspend him the rest of the season just to get it out of the way because people for me forgetting like that. Like he punched somebody in the face. Like,
oh my God! No, David. No, he cannot be suspended. Yeah, I don't think they will suspend him, but he cannot be suspended. My fantasy team, I'm making a run for a championship, and he's like one of my 4 running backs. Like if I lose him, I have Josh Jacobs. I got Josh Jacobs. I got Kenneth Walker, and I have Aaron. I think and Travis Etienne to rely on as my 3 running backs. So Alvin Kamara is leading the pack. Yeah, I know. I got 4 amazing running backs. So if one of them falls apart, I still got a backup plan. Anyways, and then I'm also looking in Dameon Pierce going up against Washington. I think he can get his yardage there. Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs, and then in FanDuel, Brian Robinson from Washington going up against a Houston team that Saquon Barkley torched last week. The week before, Derrick Henry torched them. And Brian Robinson he just got 26 carries against the Philadelphia Eagles and ran for 80 plus and a touchdown. So I expect Brian Robinson to probably get that same production, maybe even more against that Houston Texans run defense. Hey, cheap at 6,600.
Totally agree with you on the Brian Robinson. I almost made him my dislikes, but I figured you had him, so I was going to go a different direction. My number 1, I got Derrick Henry going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay still struggles to defend against the run. That's not a recipe for success when you're going up against Derrick Henry. Look for him to have a good game. Jonathan Taylor came back with vengeance last week. 3 touchdowns, I think, in that game. Really played well. Look for him to continue to, as long as the Colts are going to try to continue to win games, I guess, is what's going to happen here. Jonathan Taylor is going to be a focal point of the offense. 3, Saquon Barkley. 4, Joe Mixon. Do I think he's going to have 5 touchdowns this week against Pittsburgh Steelers? No, but I do think he's going to have a good game. 5, Nick Chubb. 6, Austin Eckler. 7, Christian McCaffrey. 8, Dalvin Cook. 9, Alvin Kamara. 10, Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not totally sure what Damian Harris's status is going to be for this game. He's currently questionable and barely practicing. But Ramondre Stevenson, especially in PPR, is the running back in New England I want for the rest of the season. Then my outside looking in, Aaron Jones. Look for him to have a big game against the Tennessee Titans. And then they're outside 2, Josh Jacobs, and then Dameon Pierce. Probably the offensive rookie of the year if that award was given out today. He's been really good. He's been really good this season. Dameon Pierce, solid as the running back there for the Houston Texans. And then my sneaky and daily is James Robinson at 5,200. He's been valuable there when he was in Jacksonville. He was pretty good. It's one game that he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So 5,200 for James Robinson. All you need to do is have him get in the end zone.
Yep. Yeah, no. So
moving on from running backs, let's talk about those wide receivers. My number 1 wide receiver was A.J. Brown. Got a little banged up in that game against the Commanders. Look for him to want to have some redemption there against the Indianapolis Colts with Stephon Gilmore barely practicing. So we'll see what happens with his status. 2, Stephon Diggs. 3, Justin Jefferson. for Deebo Samuel. I still believe in the talent of Deebo Samuel. I can't put him any lower than here. I think there's going to be a game eventually where Deebo Samuel reverts back to the Deebo Samuel of old, where he is, has all the touches, has some touchdowns. His productivity this season has been really lackluster. 5, DeAndre Hopkins. 6, Devontae Adams. 7, CeeDee Lamb. 8, Tyler Boyd. 9, Terry Scary McLaurin. And then number 10, Mari Cooper rounded out my top 10. And then my outside looking in, I got Alan Lazard. I still think he's the number 1 wide receiver there for Green Bay, even with Christian Watson's crazy output in last week against the Dallas Cowboys. But Alan Lazard is still number 1. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Garrett Wilson outside looking in. My sneaky and dailies, Paris Campbell. Whenever Matt Ryan is the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, Paris Campbell seems to play well. 4,300 on DraftKings, which is really cheap for a guy who could be the number 1 wide receiver there in Indy.
Yeah, no, I like the Alan Lazard pick. I kind of piggyback off that. I think yes, I do believe he is the number 1 guy, but Christian Watson, I think he's Aaron Rodgers is a guy. If he has some confidence in you, he's gonna start looking your way. I think Christian Watson will start getting some of those targets, but Alan Lazard was clutch in that game, especially in OT, with that big snag to get them in the red zone, get them in better field goal position. My number 1, I got Justin Jefferson. He's been on another planet this season, like literally been on another planet. At number 2, I got CeeDee Lamb. Number 3, DeAndre Hopkins. I believe Kyler Murray will be back for this game. Against the 49ers.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't think it matters.
Does it matter?
DeAndre Hopkins didn't have
it doesn't.
Colt McCoy for the last game. He had 10 catches in that game too. So, when you have a wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, it doesn't matter who his wide receiver or the quarterback is.
Yeah, no, literally, no, you're right, David. Colt McCoy isn't the most consistent quarterback or most accurate quarterback, and all you gotta do is just throw it in his vicinity and he'll just go catch it. So he's special. DeAndre Hopkins is generational talent, and I'm glad we're starting to see that. He literally came off of a suspension and has literally been a top 3 wide receiver in the league. Seriously. At number 4, I got Stephon Diggs. Number 5, Devontae Adams. Yeah, he had a big game last week. I do think that against Denver it'll be a little tough sledding. That defense has been pretty good. But I do think, if anybody, if they need a win, they got to get one this week. I think Devontae Adams is going to be big against Denver. At number 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Going up against the New York Giants, who haven't been that great, in the defensive backfield. Detroit can get up and down the field. Playing on the road, 2nd week in a row. They are going to have to rely on him a little bit. Number 7, Scary Terry McLaurin. Who had a pretty good game against that Philadelphia Eagles secondary. I look for him to have an even bigger game against Houston Texans on the road. And then at number 8, A.J. Brown. Yeah, I do know Stephon Gilmore is out, but you still got Kenny.
So he's practicing Kenny Moore the third.
Kenny Moore.
He's not practicing. It's not injury related, so he may end up playing suiting up in that game against the Eagles.
My thing about like A.J. Brown. Another thing we got to put in account is that Dallas got it. So AJ Brown's definitely going to get some more targets or target share, and he might be leaned on more as a safety blanket for Jalen Hurts. But I do think with Dallas Goedert missing, I think it opens up a little bit more for guys like Miles Sanders and Boston Scott out the backfield.
I agree with you, especially Boston Scott. When we're talking about Boston Scott, I think Boston Scott for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then at number 9, Gabe Davis. Yeah, going up against a Cleveland team. I'm going to take TJ's line. I know TJ don't mess with the fantasy, but this is a football thing. Cleveland, got to play with some pride. Until they show me that they're prideful on play on defense, I think Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis is going to have a big game against them. For the Buffalo Bills. And then running on my top 10, you notice I don't have Deebo Samuel here because you want to know something? Brandon Ayuk has been the most consistent wide receiver for the 49ers. He's actually a more complete wide receiver.
It hasn't been really all that close.
And it hasn't even been close at all. The only thing that Brandon Ayuk has been missing is the touchdowns. But he's been getting the targets, he's been getting the yardage, he's been getting the receptions, especially in PPR. I like Brandon Ayuk to be a top 10 wide receiver this week. Probably, even in the top 6 this week going up against the Arizona Cardinals. And then on my outside looking in, I got T. Higgins, Chris Olave at home going up against the LA Rams. Chris Olave is just, run straight deep, and I'm going to throw you the ball, and we're going to do that about 10 times a game. And you might catch 3 of them. So, yeah, I think he'll do that against the Rams this week at home. The New Orleans Saints are desperate for a win. And then round out my outside looking in, I got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk's teammate. He's just been kind of average this year, in my opinion. I'm not sure if he's labeling. I'm not sure what's going on.
He is coming off an injury. I don't know how much that's factoring into his productivity this season, but he's been extremely lackluster this year for sure.
Yeah, he's been extremely lackluster, and I would have thought with Christian McCaffrey kind of coming over to San Francisco, I thought that might have opened up the door a little bit more productivity for Deebo Samuel. That might get him open a little bit more. But yeah, he's just still kind of been lackluster. But he's still a threat. Whether running the football on end arounds or catching the football. And anyways, my sneaky in FanDuel is Christian freaking Watson, my rookie from the Green Bay Packers, had 3 tutties last week, and I expect Christian Watson to get the ball again this Thursday against the Tennessee Titans. He is by far the fastest guy on the Green Bay Packers offense. He is like a jet out there in open field.
He made Amari Rodgers completely expendable. You guys literally just released him.
Made Amari Rodgers expendable, who hasn't lived up to any Randall Cobb comparisons.
Hasn't been good at all.
It hasn't been good at all. I mean, Amari Rodgers was supposed to live up to Randall Cobb's. He was supposed to be like this next Randall Cobb kind of player, and he didn't live up to it at all. So yeah, Christian Watson. I think when you're a kid like him, getting 3 touchdowns, that's only going to build your confidence playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to look for him more and more as the season goes on, and he has to rely on him. And at 5,400, he's cheap in FanDuel. You can stack up the chips in other positions.
Totally agree with you on that. Moving on from wide receivers, let's talk about them tight ends. Rank your tight ends, my friend.
My tight ends. Number 1, like I always say this, man, Travis Kelce's number 1 tight end to the end of time until he actually retires. Anyways, and then number 2, Mark Andrews is going to be the number 2 tight end, and that's kind of debatable once George Kittle kind of comes back into full form. But Mark Andrews is going to be your number 2 tight end until he retires, and Travis Kelce's still playing, and George Kittle is going to be your number 3 tight end until he retires, or he might be your number 2 tight end until he retires, until Travis Kelce retires. But those 3 guys are always going to be in your fantasy football rankings, top in the tight end rankings. Anyways. And number 4, TJ Hockenson. Number 5, Bobby Schultz' cousin, Dalton Schultz. And number 6, God, I always do this. I put Cole Kmet. It's Cole Kmet, but he is popping like a can of Coke, baby. Let me tell you.
I have to fix that every time. I can't let it just sit there as Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet, yeah. I have it on my rankings like Cole Kmet. What's going on? But anyways, Cole Kmet, he's been great. In the last 3 games since the Justin Fields resurgence, really since he's kind of gotten a little healthier. I mean, overall body of work, like first half of the season, I mean, you don't see it, but the last 3 games, Cole Kmet has been amazing. And then number 7, I got Pat Freiermuth. Yeah, he's literally Kenny Pickett's favorite target there in Pittsburgh. And number 8, Foster Moreau. Number 9, Kyle Pitts. You know what about Kyle Pitts? He had how many targets he had last game? 9, 10 targets? I believe so. He had 9, 10 targets. He didn't catch everything. But going up against the Bears, I think Kyle Pitts would have a good game.
I agree.
Kyle Pitts would have a good game. Especially if he's getting that high volume target usage, I think Kyle Pitts would have a good game. And then round out my top 10, Greg Dulcich, young tight end out of Denver. Russell Wilson's looking to find him. He's a red zone threat there. And I'm outside looking in Taysom Hill, playing at home against the LA Rams. I think they'll get him in different packages. I think he'll finally get back in the scoring column this week in terms of scoring a touchdown.
I hope so, man. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, he's definitely dropping out the top 10 slowly but surely. And then I got a couple rookies here that we're going to talk about here. Trey McBride with Zach Ertz kind of being out. Well, not kind of. He is out for the year, pretty much.
He's for sure out for this game, and his availability going forward is extremely up in the air.
It's up in the air, so he might be out for the year. And Trey McBride, the young rookie, the best tight end in college football last year. I expect him and Kyler Murray to kind of do some things this week. We'll see what the young kid's made of, but I put him on my outside looking in. And then Hayden Hurst, he's been super consistent for the Cincinnati Bengals. I look for Hayden Hurst to have some type of top 13 or top 10 value this week. And then look no other in FanDuel, super cheap, super duper cheap. With Dallas Goedert being out, look for another rookie, the rookie out of SMU in Oklahoma, Grant Calcaterra, 4,200. He had one reception. Here, I'm gonna kind of go through all this, right? So Jack Stahl has played 40% of the snaps. You would think Jack Stahl, right? Jack Stahl. But Jack Stahl has only been really used as a blocker in that system. He's not really your prototypical kind of tight end, pass catching tight end. Grant Calcaterra definitely is that. He caught one ball last week for 40 yards. So I expect Grant Calcaterra to actually be a bigger play threat at the tight end position for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's kind of going to be a timeshare between him, a Stahl, and I believe who's the other guy? Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. Who's the other tight end? So it might be a timeshare between those three.
I had to totally look up that guy. I had no idea who he was. So I was like, I don't have a clue who this is.
Grant Calcaterra? So Grant Calcaterra had one catch for 40 yards.
Deep in the well, man. Deep in the well.
Yeah, at 4,200, he's super cheap. I think he's got the most potential to, be your best pass catching tight end out of those three guys.
I don't hate it. Moving back to my tight ends. Number one. So there's nothing guaranteed in life besides there's only a few things guaranteed in life. First, you're going to die, and first, you're going to be born, right? The other thing that's guaranteed, Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews are going to be 1 and 2 in my fantasy tight ends rankings for sure. 3, George Kittle. 4, TJ Hawkinson. That fit with him in Minnesota has been like, it's just been incredible. 5, Cole Kmet has been awesome. Avoided a major injury with that play in that game against the Detroit Lions. So look for him, roll him in and out in your lineup. 6, Greg Dulcich. 7, Dalton Schultz. Sorry, Bobby Schultz's cousin, Dalton Schultz. 8, Hayden Hurst. 9, Foster Moreau, filling in for the injured Darren Waller. 10, Taysom Hill. And then outside looking in, I got Dawson Knox, Big Bob Tunyon. And
there we go, baby.
Yeah, number 3, I got Trey McBride. For the same reason that you kind of talked about when you talked, the guy was the best tight end in football last year. He won whatever that award's called. I can't remember who it's called. Is it Dick Award?
I think it's called the Mackey.
That's it, the Mackey Award. Yes, thank you. Yep. And then my sneaky and daily, Dawson Knox. $3,200 for Dawson Knox. Pretty good value there, and I think he should be a focal point in their offense there for Buffalo. He's been extremely up and down this season.
Super up and down. Him, I put him and who's the Mike Gesicki on the same plane, man. Both of them, you just don't know what you're gonna get. They're either really damn good or they're just not good at all. Some weeks it's just kind of frustrating, and you see the potential there for them to be good every week. It's just I think they play with so many other weapons on the outside that Tua and Josh Allen are just like looking elsewhere.
100%.
So.
And then moving on from tight ends, let's talk about those defenses. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles. You got a pissed off Philadelphia team going against the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to have a good game there. 2, Buffalo Bills, another team that's kind of annoyed with how things have shooken out so far their season. Buffalo Bills looking to have a big game there. Ravens, Giants, Commanders. Going up against the Houston Texans. And then my outside looking in, I got the Rams, who still have a good defense. Could give some problems to the game. They must win for the Rams to stabilize their season at all. And then 2, the Cincinnati Bengals going up against Pittsburgh and a rookie quarterback. The Denver Broncos going up against Derek Carr and that Las Vegas offense. The Denver Broncos defense has actually been really good this season. So roll out the Denver. And then my sneaky and daily is the Commanders, 3,100. I think they should dominate that game against the Houston Texans.
Chase Young's coming back too.
Yeah, and their defense is clicking at the right time. So give me the Commanders at 3,100.
Yeah, with Chase Young definitely coming back. We saw them without Chase Young last week with their front seven. It was still pretty damn good, kind of getting Jalen Hurts out of his rhythm a little bit. Imagine that with Chase Young going up against Davis Mills in the Houston Texans. Hell yeah, the Washington Commanders should be a waiver pickup or picked on
I
FanDuel.
made a waiver claim on the Washington Commanders defense in a bunch of leagues. So
Yeah. Number one, I got Baltimore going up against Carolina and PJ Walker.
Baker Mayfield.
Is it Baker Mayfield? Okay,
Yep.
Baker Mayfield. Still doesn't matter, in my opinion. Well, it does matter, actually. I think Baker Mayfield gives them a better chance to win. But, at home, I think Baltimore the last couple of weeks has their defense has kind of turned the corner. I think we're starting to see, especially last time we saw with Roquan Smith, they looked really good. So, give me the Baltimore Ravens to have a really good output against the Carolina Panthers this week. Number two, I got the Buffalo Bills going up against the Cleveland Browns. Who, again, you got to show me something, right? Got to play with some pride. Number three, New England Patriots going up against the Jets. Number four, Philadelphia Eagles. The only reason I got the Philadelphia Eagles at number four, I just think it's the first time them, kind of playing, with adversity. I want to see how they bounce back. I would have put them at like the top three. I mean, number four is still pretty good, but they're on the road in Indy. They're going to be in a hostile environment. That team looks like they want to play for Jeff Saturday. They look like they got some infectious energy in them across the board. So, I think the Colts could probably run the football, do a little the same with what Washington was doing against them last week, especially with Jonathan Taylor coming off that 3-touchdown game. So I expect the Indianapolis Colts to kind of run up against them.
I probably agree with that too. So
yeah, and then Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I just think that Kenny Pickett and the Cincinnati and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense isn't all that great. I think Bengals coming off of a bye week will be a little bit refreshed, even on the road. I like Cincinnati to kind of go up, force Kenny Pickett to throw the football, and that offense to kind of try and catch up. And I think the Bengals that will be a little opportunistic this week. And then I'm outside looking in. I got Washington, San Francisco going up against Arizona, and then I got the New York Football Giants going up against the Detroit Lions, the lowly Detroit Lions. Let's see how they can play back-to-back road games, right? I like the Detroit, New York Giants to kind of force a couple turnovers against Jared Goff. And then my cheap and FanDuel, Washington Commanders. Me and David are on the same wavelength. They're cheap at 4,000. They're going against the Houston Texans. Chase Young's coming back. Front seven looked pretty good last week, and they're kind of hitting their stride right now in the last couple of weeks. So
that's been our week rankings for week number 11. Let us know down in the comment section what you think of our rankings. Are we too high or too low on some players? And please like, share, and subscribe to the show. And one more thing before we get up out of here, we got to say who we think is going to be the highest scoring player in fantasy this week. Last week, Justin Fields was the highest scoring player in fantasy at 39.38 fantasy points, at least in this player scoring. In PPR scoring at Justin Fields, 39.38. Who do you think is going to be the number one scoring player in fantasy this week? Izzy?
Godly. Man, I want to go with. You know what? I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce. I'll go with Travis Kelce. I think 3 touchdowns.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce. I think going up against Godly. His name's mistaking me now. They're playing the Chargers. Going against the Chargers. I think he'll get 3 touchdowns in that game. 2-3 touchdowns.
He always seems to gash up the Chargers every time they play.
So. Yeah, and I don't know, what Juju Smith-Schuster's kind of in the concussion protocol. I don't expect him. He took a bad hit. I think now you even need Travis Kelce a little bit more now in this game. I expect Travis Kelce 3 touchdowns in this game. And over 150 yards.
Green Bay Packers allow an average of 119 rushing yards in every game. That's not a recipe for success when going up against Derrick Henry. Look for Derrick Henry to put the crown back on to be the king as they beat the Green Bay Packers on Thursday Night Football. So check
No.
We'll see.
It's not happening.
But let us know who you think is going to be the number one scorer in fantasy this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I've been David Huppin right there. Is the CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. And keep an eye out. We're about to run another show where we're going to revisit the NFL awards. So keep an eye out for that content. I've been David Huppin. Izzy, what do we do at the Prime, my friend?
Bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Bring the heat 24/7, baby.
Absolutely. And we will be back here in a few minutes running another show. So keep an eye out for that content. I'll see you later, brother. Peace up.